Thank everybody for tuning in. Yeah, gonna have to get this thing going one way or another. Yeah. I almost went a whole entire day without talking to you guys, and I guess it didn't happen. So it is what it is. We're going to talk a little bit before I go to bed and things like that about the Cowboys and the expectations of the Cowboys, what they should do and what they need to do, and what I gather upon the other, I guess, talking heads out there who's saying that Cowboys going to lose this and Cowboys not going to win this, and then they all say that okay, we're going to pick the Cowboys to win. So it's like a hit or miss with the Cowboys this year. Everybody's, including our fans, we fall into the minds of believing the hype and not believing in our team, and we fall in that mind too. So it's a lot of things that goes into play. Shout out to them boys 27. Thank you for tuning in, as well as Joe Lucas and Jay. Man, thank you for tuning in. Money Making Mall. Thank you for tuning in. Normally I'll be on a lot of platforms, but today I think I'm just on the YouTube platform. Let me see if I can flip this thing around and get you guys comments up. As you can tell, you can see the old comment box is still up, and but Law, go to the gambling game. I don't know. It's tomorrow. I got a lot of things on the plate already for tomorrow, but it is what it is. We gonna have to figure out something. As far as Grambling though, Grambling needs to win, right? Are you a Grambling guy, or or you prefer the Grambling to win, or whoever they play tomorrow? Let's see if I can do this. Bam. Yeah, it's a new box right there. So, with that being said, man, what do you guys think of the score? What do you guys think that's what? Well, let me fix this thing. Y'all see Eli still under that. Right there, bam. And clear that out. That thing still came right. Do it like this. What's up, man? Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to Joseph, man. Thank you for tuning in. Pine Bluff. They play Pine Bluff. Okay, we can see what they're gonna do. Let me see if I can pull up this other thing. So, with that being said, guys, Cowboys versus Lions. I want to know your thoughts on who you guys think going to win, who's going to lose, who need to win, this sort of thing. I put out a stat liner the other day, or I guess earlier on this past week. Cowboys Blog Net. Thank you for tuning in on the Periscope. Thank you for being into the mix. And I put out there, list me your predictions of Dak Prescott's stats. A lot of people said four interceptions, 5 interceptions. It's just horrible, man, how our fan base feel collectively. A lot of people saying that he should be shipped off and kicked out, this sort of thing. So we'll see. I like when our back is against the wall, especially when Cowboys Nation, when we start doubting our own selves, that's when we win. So hopefully this thing can turn around in the right direction. Also, guys, that's in the chat box, did you guys get a chance to see the Tony Romo documentary today? I think it was the football life of Tony Romo, of his upbringings and how he was able to get onto the team, and how Parcells coached him up, stern coaching. It speaks volumes, man. If you guys saw the documentary, let me know, because no, not yet. Well, I don't want to spoil it all the way for you, Joe. Since you commenting, let me know if anybody else saw it. I want to see it. This is them boys 27. Yeah, it's on NFL Network. I DVR'd the show. I would love to show you guys the show, but you know how the policies are. Maybe I can put it on one of the Patreon links, and you guys can see it from that angle of Tony Romo's The Football Life. Justin Hubert. I mean, yeah, he's a good passer of the ball. Yeah, Justin Hubert. It's okay to go ahead. Well, this is the thing. My thoughts on the Tony Romo deal. It wasn't always easy for him. I think that he earned his position the hard way. He had to fight, claw in, and almost didn't make the team, but somehow stayed on the team. And Parcells said, "Okay, we're going to showcase him during the preseason," and they did that. And it was 2006, believe it or not. And that was his first action. Although he was on the team in 2003, it took him 3 years to get to that point. But he always had small things that he was working on, whether it be mechanics or throwing the motions, or hitting the target and not going through his progressions right. And of course, you saw him so frail when he came into the league, to his size until he is now. You know, he gained a little weight there. But those weights that he gained on his body was all meant to be to preserve him, basically. And if you look through his mechanics, through his reads, I mean, Tony Romo is a natural thrower of the ball, but he still had things that he had to work on. And he said that he always worked on his craft of trying to fit the ball in a certain window of space. And it took him a moment to get there. And what I'm saying is that, and I'm not crafting this to be a Dak Prescott story, but what it shows is that sometimes you can have a product, or you can have something out there in place, and it takes time to groom that product. It takes time to develop that thing, and it also takes a bit of luck. It does. Believe it or not, it takes some luck sometimes for you to get to where you want to get to in life, and sometimes it takes risk. And I think if you play it too safe in life, you will never make it. And we see this time and time again. We see this with Dak Prescott, not taking the risk of throwing the ball down the field, or not taking the risk of going the extra mile of running with your legs. And playing safe, you rarely win in this league. And I like the fact, and I like the fact that documentary came out this weekend, because it showed so many Cowboys fans out there of what the process, what it really takes to be great in the NFL. And we defend Tony Romo for so many years. We defended him. When we said that we rooted for him, we stood high on the chair and said, "Hey, our quarterback is one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever stepped foot in the NFL." But we knew for sure that the things that was around Tony Romo, it just wasn't 100%, and it took time. And what I'm saying is that we're seeing the same exact story happening now. Granted, is Dak Prescott a good thrower of the ball? No. Is he a guy that can methodically move the ball down the field? Yes. But it's something about whereas hard, stern coaching can help you out so much. And I do know that people are going to say, because I've been reading the news out there, and I've been reading the comments, and when I post something, I try to read everyone comment, because I value your opinions, believe it or not. But what a lot of people say, and the majority of the people say, well, you developing the excuse for this excuse. Last year was this, and last year was that, and this year is this, and this year is that. And excuses. But it's been over 25 years, guys, or getting close there one way or another. It's been a long time since we hosted the Lombardi Trophy. And the main thing that stays the same is the owner of this team. And if we look at it too, in the last decade or so, we got the exact same thing that's been the same, and that's Jason Garrett. Who have Jason Garrett developed, and how is Jason Garrett is going to elevate this team? So we can ask those hard questionings, and then we can also look back at the fact that this team, this year alone, is the first year ever that you really never had I guess outside of Ezekiel Elliott, an explosive guy. And of course, you can mention Tavon and Austins of the world. But it's been a long time, guys. And for Jerry Jones to really, or Stephen Jones, one of them Jones brothers, Jones family, for them to not pull a trigger on other assets to help this team out like tremendously, then maybe next year they just trying to say to themselves, if we can have the right amount of money, we can get guys, star players to come out to this team. And that's the biggest thing that's been holding us back, is those star caliber players willing to play for this team. And I don't know why, you know, we mentioned the taxes and stuff like that, but a lot of people still not saying that they beating down the door to get to play in Texas. And it just got this black cloud floating around our head, and it's just hard for us to just overcome a lot of things. Romo sat behind Bledsoe for 3 years. Prescott started from his first year. This is from Brian Bradford. But nobody wants to know the truth, Brian. They don't want to hear that. They want to just hear the fact that Dak Prescott can't hit water if he fell off a boat. And they want to elevate Dak Prescott in his first and second year and put him on the pedestal of what Tony Romo. And then if you go back and watch the documentary, Tony Romo himself said it wasn't until 2012 or 13, whenever we played against the Denver Broncos, until he got his right throwing mechanics down. That's a long time to get that right. But they don't want to hear that. They got selective hearing, and they only want to hear the fact that, can we put a W in the win column, and can you have 300 yards? And people fail to realize, people, true Cowboys fans out there that sat there and watched those games that Tony Romo threw those interceptions and made some boneheaded decisions. A lot of people felt at the edge of their seat. There was a lot of people in 2000, before the 2014 season came about, and said, you know what, we out on Tony, man. We want to bring in somebody else, anybody. Bring in anybody that can hold on to the ball, who can stay healthy. A lot of people got fed up with Tony Romo. And the problem is with that, I know for sure, one thing that God blessed me with is memory. And I can remember things, and I read things. I got one of those crazy visions, and I'm not calling myself a guy with, like this guy on what's this show I watched, Suits, where he got this photographic memory where he can just look at the Webster dictionary and remember everything. But I got a good king memory, and that's why I be like, post your comment down. So I remember. So I seen people who say, oh man, I'm never watching your show again, or never watching your channel again, and then 3 weeks later they around there like, hey, you still da. So I mean, we got a team, guys, that if everybody can rally around, and if everybody can just stop being so negative and start supporting each other, then this team can really fly. I mean, you'd be surprised, man, at what the press clippings and all the little negative things that can just wear you down. And I'm not saying that this team don't have the mental capacity, but damn it. Sometimes I'll be like, man, as a Cowboys fan, I just get tired of it. I get tired of people saying, you know, that support the silver and blue, talking down about their own team. You know, it's just crazy. Here he is right here. Elite, thank you for tuning in. Rod, David B, thank you for tuning in. Who else we have? Marcelo. Hey, the B's are all up in here, man. Offense is still in preseason mode. Yeah, man, think about this, and that's a good mention, David. This is the thing with offense. It takes a while for offense to gel, and I do understand that somebody's going to say, well, hey, wait a minute, Law, what about the Rams? What about the Minnesota Vikings? Don't their offense look good? Hey, Minnesota Vikings, as good as they playing right now, they still won, was it 1-2-1? Not that good of a record. I mean, we always see teams with high expectations, high hopes, just like I think one year Kansas City Chiefs went 5-0 and didn't even sniff at the playoff. They was 5-0. And then the year before that, 2016, I believe the Minnesota Vikings themselves was 6-0. Didn't even sniff the playoff. And I can go way back in the days. I think the Vikings, not the Vikings, but the Lions. It started off 6-2 or something like that, and John Kitna still wasn't able to carry their team on. So I do understand that we want to win now, but it's something about hitting that fire towards the latter part of the year and then propelling that off into the playoff. Now, my biggest reservation would still be on Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan. And I do know that people are going to say, well, wait a minute, Law, you just talk about what about being positive? But this is the thing. When you're talking about Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan, there got to be somewhere down the line through their careers and whenever they was even playing that they was able to elevations. We can go back into some players and we can say that this person was able to do this on this particular level and he was able to raise the team on this particular level. So we just don't have that. And then on top of that, if we kept Jason Garrett and we brought in, let's say, a good quarterback guru that we know for sure that can help elevate and teach the young quarterback, then we can say to ourselves, okay, they making the right moves. But when you're talking about cronyism, and when you're talking about nepotism, and when you're talking about elevating somebody who never won a NFL game in their lives, Kellen Moore's of the world, how in the world are you going to pour upon your experience on somebody that beat you out, regardless of whether or not somebody can argue the fact that, okay, he didn't really beat you out because he was injured and all this stuff? Come on, man. Marcelo B said, let's run the ball. Yeah, Undisputed this morning was talking about Eric Dickerson and Shannon Sharp, two of the guys that I know for sure normally pick against Cowboys. But they were saying that they picked the Cowboys to win, and they said the reason why that the Cowboys will win due to the simple fact that the Cowboys should run the ball. And if Ezekiel Elliott don't get 20 plus carries, then they should they should just fire the whole entire offensive staff, you know. So those are things that they brought up this morning. Run the ball. That was like spoken in high volumes this morning. Kamara can run routes like a wide receiver. Kamara, I meant to say. Elite Rod. Yeah. I mean, he can run crisp, sharp routes. He's small. He gets skinny, elusive, can get upfield, and he don't look like he's slowing down at any time. And it's one of those things, man, that not Atlanta Falcons, but the New Orleans Saints, they found a good gem in him, and they didn't pick him in the first round, you know. So he was there and he was able to be picked up. I remember when we was doing our draft show, I was saying, hey, what about this guy from Tennessee? And a lot of people were like, no, we already got Zeke. And I said, hey, 1-2 punch, man, that would just be nightmarish for a team. But neither here nor there. It's just what it is. Treat Zeke like a wide receiver. I don't know about that, man. To me, I like to bring up this comparison, and I appreciate you for bringing that up. But treating Zeke like a wide receiver would be far-fetched, because this is the thing. Unless you pass Ezekiel Elliott the ball while he's in motion, I don't think that he has that like stop, get up and go speed like a Gurley or a Kamara. You know, I don't think he has that quick twitch speed like a the guy that played for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Tyreek Hill. I think that's how you say this guy's name. So I don't think he has that type of speed. But Ezekiel Elliott, if you can give him the ball while he's in motion, you'll see a guy that's elusive, that can get upfield and do a lot of things. And then that's what I like about Ezekiel Elliott. So he's more of a battering ram, a bruiser. To me, what I'm thinking of this team, there was a guy that shined a little bit during preseason, and I do know that he don't have the pedigree of a Bo Scarborough or a pedigree of what a Rod Smith was doing out there. But I think that he would be a good complement piece to Ezekiel Elliott, because now it will be a change of pace. It'll make the defense think that this guy can be elusive, fast. He wore number 34. You guys remember his name? He wore number 34. He was quick. He was short. And I said during the preseason game, I said, man, this guy reminds me of Emmitt Smith, a bootleg version, at least, you know. So what that does, man, when you have a change of pace guy like that, it just creates a new wrinkle. I mean, it's just one of those things where you can say to yourself, he's not the Trey Williams, thank you, April. Trey Williams, you put him out there in the backfield, just be a change of pace. When you're looking at the offense that we have now, it just seems a little bit lethargic. And I do know this, week 3 going into week 4. It just seemed like you got so many of the same parts. Like, if I was to lay them out straight, Terrence Williams, Allen Hurns, Deontay Thompson. I mean, all these guys are pretty much in the same box, man. You got to have a different type of guy, basically. So hopefully, and I really mean hopefully, that Bryce Butler can bring in a different type of element. Granted, this right here is that when I see Tavon Austin out there on the field doing his deal, I think that they need to give Tavon Austin more chances and more time to run the ball and give him more snaps out there in the backfield. Because what we're looking at now, when they was talking about maybe we give Tavon Austin 23 touches a game, it looks like he's going to average 23 touches a month. So they're going to have to give this guy more chances, more opportunities to just give him the ball. He's a playmaker. You sprinkle in Tavon, you sprinkle in the Cole Beasley, and then you sprinkle in the off the bench. And I'm not saying you bench Ezekiel Elliott, but you sprinkle in a number 34, a different type of change of pace running back. And if not, if you don't want to do that, that's cool. That's cool. But you should give more pro sets looks. You should have your quarterback to line up on the center more. I think that what the spread offense does when Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott way out there in the shotgun, and you're trying to run, if you're a run first team and you're running out of shotgun, that's a big red flag there, because now you're tipping your hand. There's so many limitations with the spread shotgun play. And then what it does is, of course, you can see the field better. You can see, okay, this receiver is there. This receiver is sitting over there. But you can still horn in and say, okay, all right, those are limitations with routes. But if you compress everything and run off a pro or I, then you add in your boot. Of course, I do know we do a lot of bootleg, but if you add in those things and your motions and inside, then you will have a more complicated offense. Meaning that long, I know it's dangerous when you have your back turned towards the defense when you're doing the long handoff. But what that does is creates a mental mindset of the safeties, of the linebackers. They cheating up. They trying to get a little bit closer. And then when you hit them with the play action, if Dak Prescott keep the ball and then he launches the ball down the field, now they're going to say to themselves, all right, we're going to have to back our guys up, because we just can't crowd a line like that, because it can be a play action. But when you do those things out of shotgun, who you fucking, your back is never turned, and they can see you. They can just see whatever motion and movement that you're doing out there, and it's just not productive to me. Now, somehow, some way, with the limited carries that we managed to get with Ezekiel Elliott, the Dallas Cowboys still tops in running the ball. So it could be better. It could be better. Play Rico. Yeah, K-Do. I mean, this is the thing with Rico. So many people are so hell-bent on his blocking ability and his route running and things like that. But if you put him in the I formation, more of a pro style or pro setup look, and you just tell him, hey, what I want you to do is run 5 yards down the seam. Just run 5 yards down the seam. And what I want you to do, too, is you play basketball. I want you to just run 6 yards, low post, and back your way into the first down marker. You're 6'7", you know, and you want to exploit the mismatches. When you see the mismatches, when you see a linebacker line out or wide on Ezekiel Elliott, then you just send Ezekiel Elliott up the field vertically. I mean, it doesn't take rocket scientists. If you can do this in middle school and high school, I'm thinking that on this level you can at least throw the ball, whether it's picked off or not, at least throw the ball down the seam. I think that's the easiest play you can do. It's just a straight vertical route. It's mismatch because it's my running back against your linebacker, who I believe my running back is collectively, or I guess in the vacuum, is faster than your linebacker. So it is what it is, man. Drew Dawson, you said Dawson, what's up, man? Shout out to you. He said we just suck. I feel you, man. Shout out to April though, in the Palmer son, right? Charles, man, thank you for tuning in. Darius Jackson, he was out there, right? Darius Jackson, number 44. That's still, so if I was to put groupings, I would put Darius Jackson, number 45, and also Ezekiel Elliott as the same style of runner. When you're talking about change of pace, maybe you want somebody who's a little smaller, short, elusive. Of course, can be a threat at catching the ball out of the backfield. And then on top of that, of course, you never want the backup guy to get out there and fumble the ball. So there's a lot of variables. I can't talk tonight. Variables out there. I was watching some old Cowboys game on YouTube with Roger Staubach. That's Brian. That's a long time ago. This is Bruce Johannes. He says, just have Rod Smith and Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield at the same time. Rod can be the lead blocker. And that's what I thought that they were going to utilize Jameis Olawale as, And the whole argument with the 12 personnel that they fell in love with, because we're a power run team, use Jameis Olawale in those fashion. Kick the tight end off. If your tight ends are not being productive out there, if they're running routes and they hitting the ball, hitting them in the hand, and they playing, volleyball with it, and they're not being a safety net for the quarterback best friends, running backs and tight ends. So if they're not being able to help them out in those factors, figure out a way to put the fullback out there and just run behind the fullback lead and then line him out motion and then put him in the slot and put him at the wide position or put him at the flanker. You can move him around. It's just called football. I don't know why the Cowboys refuse to do that, but what do we know, right? What do we know? We're not getting paid millions of dollars. We just talking. We just talking. Who we have here? Money Making Mall. Man, what's good, man? What you have over here? What you saying? What you saying? Tavon can definitely average a touchdown every 2 games. Yeah, I think he can. Ant-Man, thank you for tuning in from the Periscope. Appreciate you, man. But going back to this documentary, we can talk about this little documentary. It was a horrible documentary to me, as it relates to like having your emotions and peeling the scab back and just pouring alcohol all over it. It was one of those horribles, good piece put together. But wouldn't the story be nice if Tony Romo was able to do like the John Elways of the world or the Peyton Mannings? It was horrible watching Candace Romo crying and saying that that her husband had to go through the rigmarole towards the latter part of his career when 2014 happened, and Tony Romo giving that speech saying that I understand what's going on and it's best for me to just go ahead and retire and give up the fight. It was hard, man. It was hard for us to digest all that, knowing how close we were in 2014. And even if Daz Bryant was able to catch that ball, you still had of course, I'm thinking that what Tony Romo was thinking, I guess he was saying that at the 1, they would have ran the clock out and then they would have punched it in for the touchdown. But if Daz Bryant caught the ball, which he did count the ball, we still would have had 1 minute and 15 seconds or whatever time left on the clock. And that's an eternity for Aaron Rodgers. And our defense was not even given a stop. So if anybody should have been mad at anything, it should have been we should have been mad at Dan Bailey for missing that kick. We should have been mad at DeMarco Murray for fumbling that ball. I would never forget those two things before that last catch or no catch, whatever, catch, no catch, whatever that ruling is or whatever it may be. The NFL putting their finger all in our face with that stuff. But it's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. Coaches really do suck at utilizing players. This is from Elite Rob. I agree. It is just the concept, the overall concept of the coaching on the offensive side right now is in my. There's no way we can explain the way we are right now until the only thing that I can say is until we get enough games. If this thing still look like week 7, week 8, week 9, then something really gonna have to change. But it's still early. It's still early. It's not even cold outside yet. So that's when you really can look at the football field and say, okay, these teams are for real when it start getting cold outside. Jarwin plays scary. Jarwin plays just like he is. Jarwin plays like although this is his second year, he plays like he looks like a rookie out there because he didn't play none his first year. So he looks very rookie-ish out there. And Michael Gallup too, my pet cat, my guy. He's still learning. And he's going to get his footings down together. And hopefully we'll see him going off this game. This is his second home game, and normally when you're at home, you should be confident at your home. And I'm thinking that this is my rationale of this. A home game, these guys are still young, still one of the youngest teams in the NFL, right? So now you got a home game. The second home game, the younger guys like the number 52, the Gallup, and whoever else that's on this team that's young, number 92, all these guys that's young on this team, they should be confident a little bit more. They should be pumped up a little bit more, and we should see them make plays this, I guess, technically it's tomorrow, but they should be making plays Sunday because it's already 12:35 where I'm at. Rue, what's good, man, with you, man? K Doe, what's going on offensively? All right, and then you said also Chris Richard is that for us on the defense? Yeah, he is. Law, can you recall one game in Jason Garrett's tenure where you thought he outcoached the opposition or opposing coach? Yeah, let me see. I'm thinking Jason Garrett out coaching the opposition. Y'all help me out, man. Y'all, you guys help me out. I don't know. Maybe we can use those Redskin games. He's been beating the Redskins for the last 3 or 4 years now. Excuse me. Yeah, so he been beating them. Yeah. That's when he outcoached the opposition. Those Redskin games. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to tell. Shout out to you, Vern. Thank you for tuning in. Peter, thank you for tuning in too as well. Well, why can't we just run the ball? Running the ball is, I don't know, man. I guess you got 3 levels deep of past coachings that used to play football as a quarterback. Scott Linehan, I was reading his little scouting report on him. He used to be a quarterback back in the days, and I think his son is actually a quarterback for one of those obscure state teams. And Jason Garrett, he's a quarterback. So, and then you got Kellen Moore, who's an assistant. Well, technically, he's like the next in line heir apparent of being a coach somewhere. So, I mean, you got guys who's who's more of a offensive minded coaching. I mean, if we look at Bill Belichick, his mindset is more of a defensive mind coach. It's just one of those things where it's either the identity of the team normally falls and rests on the coaching, and 9 times out of 10 people do what they comfortable or confident in doing it. And I think throwing the ball around is confident, is confident, is comfortable for the for the coach. I'm finally getting tired because I'm talking. At first I had so much energy I could do some more things. But all right, guys, so let's get this thing going, man. Put your score prediction down. Put your predictions of Dak Prescott's stats down too. And put your I want to say sack total of what D-Law is going to get to Sunday. And we're going to try to see what we can do, man. Utilization, underutilization of players, right? I see what you put down at Elite. Yeah, so I really appreciate all y'all tuning in, man, to the show. It's just always a pleasure for you guys talking to me, especially at this time of day or night or wherever you may be. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the notification squad too as well. That's always a wonderful feeling for you guys to be part of a notification squad, because you just never know when I come on here live and get to talking and just telling you guys what's on my mind. Tomorrow, if you're in the Dallas area, Plano, I will be at the Lava Cantina that's over there in Plano. You just type that into your GPS. It'll tell you exactly how to get to that address. We got on the docket, we have Bryce Butler, we have Jeff Heath, as well as who's the other guy? See, my mind is gone. Bryce Butler, Jeff Heath, and the Awuzie. So we have those guys. Of course, the original 88 will be in the mix too. So we're gonna get this thing going one way or another. I gotta really go because my throat is, I gotta look. I had a little cold from my daughter, and when you have the kid, you cough in your face and do all this stuff and give it to you. So I finally got rid of the raspiness, but the residuals are still here, but I'm still rolling. So appreciate you guys. See y'all tomorrow, man. Those who can make it out there to the thing. Peace. Let me get on out of here, man. Salute. I'm out.